I suppose this is my product review of the Beyerdynamic DT990 Pro headphones, but in all reality, this is more like my endorsement video. I absolutely love these. I wear them almost every day. I've put them to the test. I think they are so awesome and so underrated for gaming, for editing, and just for flat out listening and enjoying audio. Now, I'm not wearing these right now to record this. Full disclosure, I don't think these are perfect for absolutely everything, and I'll get into that in just a second. But I do feel like when I see somebody else wearing these headphones, I know something about them. I know that they know what they're doing. It is kind of that endorsement type situation. Let me get into the basics of these cans. The 990 Pros, these were actually launched back in 1988. So like a lot of Beyer products, they've been around for a while. They've stood the test of time. Other things have come and gone and been introduced, but they keep making and keep selling these for an obvious reason. These are open back headphones. If you've never had a pair of those before, just understand this is going to be a bit different. The sound doesn't get trapped like they do here in a closed back situation of the 770s. Through these side vents here, audio is meant to escape, to make it more of like a speaker listening situation, an ambient listening situation, instead of trapping all the audio in your ear cups. There are multiple variants of the 990s. There's the 990 editions, I think. Don't get those confused with the Pros. As for the Pros, there's the 250 ohm version. There's also an 80 ohm version. And if that's not confusing enough, the 990s are also part of this very famous 770, 880 line. So a lot of these Beyerdynamic cans, they look similar. They're different sound profile, different purpose of how they're supposed to be used. Just don't get it confused, even though from afar, they look all very similar. You can get these right now for around and sometimes even under $130, which is comparable to the 770s. And again, if it's these or something slightly cheaper, I do think you get an extra bang for your buck in spending this $130. Let's show you the sound profile here, and these are fun headphones for a reason. I mean, this is relatively V-shaped. Not as much as maybe a pair of Beats headphones where the lows and the highs are dramatically pushed, but I mean, look at that nice little bump there, all the way down to what, like 60 or 70 hertz up to maybe 300 or 400 hertz. That mid to high bass region, the one that really resonates on certain songs or certain sound effects that have a deep booming sound, you're definitely going to hear those in these headphones. There are a couple mid-range dips. You see one in the high mids just below 1,000, maybe 700, another one probably at 1,500. I feel like sometimes they could have done without those. I mean, if I could go back and make small improvements, maybe flatten those out. The mids seem a little bit veiled on occasion. But then the highs obviously have a presence too, up near 10,000. So very much V-shaped. The highs and lows are both there. The mids are just fine. Not as flat as could be, but you can definitely see. And by the way, these 770s, they have nothing of that push above the 100 hertz region and range. So when you listen to these, like I said, this is how a lot of people's speakers are going to sound, with a little bit of a more dramatic bass, maybe some high-end push. It's going to have that fun V-shape, and that's why I like listening to these while I edit, because I truly feel like these reflect how most people will actually hear it on whatever they're listening to my content on. Okay, up next, let's talk about these cans in several different ways. Number one, the build quality. And just like the 770s and the 880s, a chunky design. These are durable, they're robust. You can drop them. I'd hate to see that. You could sit on them. I've done that. These do stand the test of time. And even if you do break something, everything here is completely replaceable. Obviously, the ear pads, like most headphones, but also even the headband up here, which is kind of a pleathery material, doesn't get gross or disgusting. You can easily clean it, no problem. But you can replace this if you need to. You can replace everything here. All parts are replaceable on these headphones. I have become a pretty big fan of these velour ear pads here. These are black. They're a little bit harder to see. You can switch them out for a white color too. But after wearing pleather type ear pads over all these years and not understanding maybe the difference fabric would make, it is a true luxury to have these. They sit differently on your ear. By the way, there's not a ton of clamping force on all of these Beyer headphones. I do feel like the 990s clamp just a little bit more than the 770s, but again, that's just a minor observation, not a problem or a big detail that you need to know. But these velour ear pads, nice cushion, nice seal around the ears. In this case, audio is escaping, but it does hang on to your head pretty well. And for longer listening periods, these don't get you too hot. They don't get you sticky for sure. And the 990, at least the 250 ohm version, has a coiled cord. I do want to mention that. Some people don't like that. This is my perfect headphone. I am a fan of the coiled cord, mostly because whatever I'm plugging into is usually right in front of me. So I'd rather have this and stretch it if I need, rather than a long cord of a couple feet that I couldn't put to use. Let's get into the sound profile. I showed you the frequency response curve, but yeah, punchy lows. I think that's the best way I could describe the lows of these headphones. Obviously, this is a YouTube video. I can't have you listen to these, but just trust me, the low is there and it gives you punch. It's got some body to it. It's not muddy. It's not dirty. It's not fatiguing, but when it needs to be there, it definitely is. The highs are not fatiguing. That's something I would say, not necessarily about these, but the Sony 7506s, the highs on those headphones, if you listen long enough, it is a bit fatiguing on the ear. I'll tell you the one thing about these, I could listen to audio longer on these than pretty much any other headphone model that I own. Earbuds, proper headphones, in-ear monitors, I can listen to everything longer on here because these are the least fatiguing. They also feature kind of a wide stage, wide sound stage. You would expect that, having the open back design, right? But there's the other part of this too, that it doesn't exactly have a wide open feel, in a sense that I've listened to other open back headphones and it does feel like sound is escaping out of the room. And if I snap my fingers around the room, I can hear it as if there's nothing even on my head. These are open. They're not wide open though. Sound does leak out of here, but not a lot more than like a 770 closed back. I just do want to make that clear. Open back, have the sound of an open back, but they don't feel like air is blowing into the side of your headphones. It's not that wide open and airy. Just my perspective on it. And then use cases here. So where would you use these 990s? Why would you want a pair of these? How are these different than the 770s? Listening, like just flat out enjoying a YouTube video, enjoying music, enjoying whatever it is. I think these are good for an audio file. Mastering and making edits, again, because this to me is how the audience is going to be listening on a more fun-shaped, a more V-shaped frequency response curve, and these headphones provide it. So I want to kind of simulate how the end product will be enjoyed. And gaming, yeah, you want all of the different, frequencies of gaming, the highs, the lows. You want to hear when something explodes, perhaps. This set of headphones is definitely gonna help you feel that. Now, open back, again, audio will escape through the side. So if you're trying to be silent and quiet, yeah, these headphones don't do it. And I would also not use these in a recording situation, like right now. Here's why. I put these on, sound escapes through the side. Where do you think that sound can get right back into? This microphone, this condenser microphone, which loves to pick up everything, will pick up the sound from my headphones. So I do not use this. I would not use this in a recording situation. All things considered, and I've got to be honest, I've pumped these up. I've told you how great these are, and that's true, but I just wouldn't use them in exactly every single situation. So the DT990 Pros, by the way, 250 ohm version is what I'm modeling here and what I'm reviewing. Again, I think these are among the most underrated out there. And there's a ton of choices. And these aren't perfect. A little bit older, they don't fold up into a nice small design, but if you're looking for everyday use, everyday enjoyment, if you want a pair of headphones that live like at your desk, for example, and give you a really good audio experience from morning till evening, Can't recommend these enough. I think they come in at a pretty respectable price point, and they're not perfect, but they're about as close as I've found. Let me know if you have these, or if you like these, or if you're going to get these, or what you think about this video. Don't forget to subscribe, or also like this video to help out my channel. Thank you.